The hottest of starts for Na'Vi on Championship Sundays. They take complete control of Street Stronghold, seeing different players stepping up in every map, and this one was all about Kimbo. Catalyst player kept the ball rolling after Quadrant started off with a significant lead, but an overshield grab and a triple kill later, Jimbo had turned things around and they found themselves neck and neck. 2Foxy was on fire towards the end, and play after play led to another dub on the board. And finally, the nail in the coffin where it truly came down to the wire, and every single round was recharge ball, an extremely competitive 3-round game. And 2Foxy making heads-up plays left Quadrant scratching their heads, heading down to the elimination bracket. I mean, what a series. I really was not expecting that. And Shozy, bringing you onto the desk, lovely to see you, looking absolutely fantastic, by the way. But Na'Vi, do I dare say they're looking better than you today? Maybe. 3-0 against Quadrant. It's a bold statement, I know. I mean, what did you make of the gameplay you saw? You were casting it, so you had front row seats.
That is not what I expected to see. Na'Vi looking so good, but Quadrant all of a sudden on the back foot and not really coming out the way we expected. They hadn't dropped the map up until this point, and all of a sudden they go down 3-0. They have a lot of work to do if they're going to go on a run in the elimination bracket. But for Na'Vi, I think when they put all the pieces together, what a beautiful puzzle it is.
Yeah, certainly is a beautiful puzzle. That is for damn sure, and a lovely way to put it as well. Really excited to see Na'Vi's journey later, but even more excited to see Quadrant potentially bounce back. However, moving on to our next series of the day, we do have JLINGZ versus Online Warriors. Two teams that really do have what it takes to make a decent run, and I think they have all the pieces. They just need to put them together. We actually did manage to catch up with two of the players earlier on. We have Flux and Quad talking about this matchup and how important a run is going to be for Championship Sunday.
Fire so far as Cristola.
I wouldn't be here, and we all wouldn't be here if we didn't think we could win this event. I wouldn't waste my time.
Massive trouble. Two players went for rockets, it didn't really matter. At the moment, they ran away from the rockets and he got the freest of his life. Now he should secure a kill, which he will manage to do so. 200 to 120.
Well, our goal is first, and we're going to go for first. Definitely.
I think both teams have exactly what it takes to take one another down. I actually think this could be a pretty close series. Let's start off talking about JLINGZ though. And Gaskin, this team really have been through the ringer so far this weekend. They've managed to come on top time and time again. Obviously the road bump though was Ascend, but very impressive with what was coming through. The fact that they could adapt to Ascend's game style, the fact that they were able to keep up with the pace. What does that tell you about this series in particular, going up against Online Warriors?
I think JLINGZ go into this as favourites. They've beaten Online Warriors once. They've got close games against Ascend. Before the tournament, maybe we would have been saying they are the underdogs in this, but I think they've proved that LAN is a different story to online. They are a completely different side that we're seeing on our main stage, and they will be looking to try and make a statement here so that they can move on into that top 4, guarantee a placement at Orlando, and start to build on to bigger and better things, start to compete for those grand final spots.
I think looking at the JLINGZ roster as well, so far this tournament, I don't see a weak link anymore. I don't see any player struggling. They're all picking up the slack when one maybe doesn't. I think we've seen Septic go off at times, Cristola having some clutch plays. They've all been picking up the pieces when it needs to, and I really feel like Online Warriors are in big trouble, particularly if we see the sort of performance we've seen from them all weekend. I
think it's one of those occasions that when every single player is firing on all cylinders on a team, they become unstoppable, and I'm actually starting to see that develop here for JLINGZ. I think as well, another player to mention is Morga. Not always getting the best stats. You do see him pop off occasionally in different maps, but my goodness, he's so sneaky. CTF, just getting behind base, pulling flags. I mean, just unbelievable stuff coming through. The heads-up gameplay. He's going to need a lot more of that lethal if he wants to take down Online Warriors.
Yeah, he's been sneaky, he's been a high flyer, he's been both different styles, and it's nice to see some different plays from him coming out of the woodwork here so far. And I think one of the main things we need to take with this JLINGZ roster is how they played against Ascend. The scores were close, some of them could have gone either way. Even if they only won that Catalyst TS game, the first game was really a true indicator, not to see how Ascend were going to play going into winners finals, but how JLINGZ was going to perform throughout the rest of the tournament if they did go into the elimination bracket. But with Online Warriors, they need to be offline Warriors at this point. The pedigree of skill and the individual talent they have, especially with players like Shady, who is one of the fastest in terms of the EU scene with the plays he makes, and just need to try and abuse that, because he's kind of like not just an edgy slayer, but causes a massive distraction for any opponent he plays against, and that's where those three need to really try and abuse it.
They certainly do, and talking about Online Warriors, Let's chat about them. I mean, you know, Jimbo kind of put it correctly. Online warriors, they have been warriors online, right? But when it comes to LAN, it's a completely different beast, and they need to start stepping up. And like I said earlier about all players firing on all cylinders and looking really well, is that what we're missing here with this squad? Is somebody not picking up the slack, maybe multiple, or is it just something completely different, Gaskin?
Just as a team, they have been off. They've been awful. And I think they would admit it themselves ever since that loss against JLINGZ in pool play, the 3-2 loss. They've never really bounced back from that. And we haven't seen the online warriors that we were expecting to see. I had so much expectations of this squad. Online, they were the new guys on the block, the guys that dethroned Ascend, the guys that were going to change the top of European Halo, and then they have flopped when it comes to this event. But now this is the chance to make up for it. The series they had in pool play against JLINGZ was awfully close. I'm talking 50-47, 2-1 in ball, 3-2 in King, 4-3 in capture the flag. It was one flag, 1 point that really made the difference. So this is a series where they could finally bring themselves back up, finally put themselves in that name to be a top 4 team, if not more.
I predicted this team coming into this finishing top 4. Now I know that if they win this series, they do finish top 4, but the evidence that we've seen, this has not been the same team. They've been so disjointed, making single and solo pushes, and they're just getting picked apart every single time. I need to see more from them here. I demand more from them because there's experience all over the stage here. These are not new players. These have been there, they've done that, they've been on LAN. I want to see, and I need to see more.
And one thing you've got to add as well to all that is the fact that they've got 2 entry slayers. They've got Mose and Shady. They're the ones who create these opportunities, but no one's taken advantage of it. How many times have you seen Shady go here, then absolutely everywhere at high speed just to try and make something happen, get the magic going to break some of these setups or make some of these pushes? Mose pretty much doing the same thing as well, and that's why it's going to be very tough and very difficult. And we know that Flux is going to be 100% making those IQ plays and be the IGL, and needs to really progress further with that leadership role, trying to take charge, make these calls, stop taking these duels, tell your teammates that it's cringe and just go for the numbers game. And we've seen it enough times again and again. So there's a lot of little things here and there which are adding up, but this is a time for them to step things up as well. They've already lost to JLINGZ back in pool play. They've already lost to Na'Vi as well. So even though those losses aren't really clear signs of what we can expect, at least they can talk and rectify it overnight and see if they can make a bigger difference and a bigger picture going into this next matchup.
What we've seen from this team when they burst onto the scene is they were pushing the pace, they were playing the game perfectly, and they looked like a team. Heading into LAN here, they haven't been a team. They looked like 4 mercenaries, just come together at the last second just to try and do as best they possibly can. I need to see more. I keep harping on about it. I've been bitterly disappointed by what these boys have put on show, and they're so much better than what they've shown here this weekend.
They certainly are, and what's on show right now on the screen is our series layout. We're starting things off with Oddball on Streets. Now, Gaskin, I do always come to you if you are on the desk to tell me what is going to be going on, do you think, in this series based on what we have provided?
I think the good news for both teams is there is no rematch from the previous series they played in pool play, so we're going to have brand new game types. I think Oddball Streets is going to be a perfect way for JLINGZ to start. One thing we've learned is that online warriors struggle against teams who have structure. That's why they got slapped around by Na'Vi. I do think that if online warriors are sending Shady into the fray once more, who will get caught out, then JLINGZ may take full advantage of that. So I'm looking forward to this series.
I certainly am too. And in fact, so much so that I'm going to throw straight to our casters who are waiting in the booth, ready to go. We got Onset and Bravo on the mics. Fellas, it's over to you.
Thank you, Lottie, and it is time for us to get into another series, and another series that has some wonderful stories to be concluded. JLINGZ have been exceptional during this tournament, maybe surpassed some expectations that some players and some teams, some fans, and us included, maybe put down for them before the tournament got underway. But now they have the opportunity to go one step further, to keep this story going. On the other side of things, Online Warriors have made it to Sunday. They have looked lax, they have looked slow, they've looked off the pace up until now, but Sunday is the perfect time to step it back up.
An opportunity for Championship Sunday to be very different for Online Warriors here, and the JLINGZ winners bracket run was halted earlier today, and you have to think they were only 1 flag away from going to another dreamy Game 5 for them, where they found a lot of success. Question is, how does the JLINGZ fairy tale end? Do they secure top 4 here and a guaranteed trip to Orlando? That's what's on the line this series.
Absolutely massive for both of these teams. Obviously, the pinnacle of Halo will always be in North America until one of these teams from Europe can step up and challenge that mantle. The first thing you got to do, you got to get to the event. You got to give yourself the chance to compete against the best, and all 8 players on this stage will want that opportunity to do so.
So much on the line. in this series. Winner will go to Orlando, secure top 4, continue on in the bracket, more prize money. Loser goes home here and now and receives none of that. This is everything to play for on Championship Sunday.
This is the series you don't want to lose. It's as simple as that. For JLINGZ and Online Warriors, step 1 is going to be performed here on Street. It's going to be oddball to kick us off.
Starting things off here with Morga already a drop shield, and now that becomes really a prerequisite, it feels like, for the rocket grab as the meta continues to evolve in this game. And as we said, so much to play for, so much pressure. You heard it on the desk. These are no strangers to main stage European Halo, and neither of these squads wants to go home at this stage.
Well, it's going to be a little bit of thrust battle here. Flux versus Septic, and Flux will get the better of him. But off the break here was actually JLINGZ who got that first set of rockets. You saw in the kill feed, it lit up. Septic got 2 kills with them after getting taken down just there. And we're going to see our first hold of the game. Now, let's just take ourselves back a little bit. Online Warriors did play this game type yesterday against Na'Vi. A couple of very close rounds, but after that, they kind of fell apart a little bit. They've got the opportunity to put that right here.
They have an opportunity to put the weekend right if you're Online Warriors, right? As a reminder, just in case you're just joining us, these two teams met up early on in the tournament, and it was a come-from-behind win for JLINGZ to win a Game 5 Slayer by just a few kills. And if we're honest, that's been the story of the JLINGZ weekend. They have found a way to dig deep to get to Game 5 and win the series. Here, though, they know that's a little bit riskier to do that again against Online Warriors. You don't always get the chance to do that twice. They're going to want to end this in sooner than 5 games.
Online Warriors are a momentum-based team as well. They will want to go to a Game 5 with a little bit of fire in the belly, something to get them going. I'm sure they'd love to get it inside of 3 games, of course, but Mo's with that shotgun, it's always going to be a nuisance. Picks up 1 here on the pink street, and now you're going to see him have to do some more work. He's getting collapsed on here by JLINGZ. Really good prioritization of making sure that kill didn't get away.
I think one thing to highlight as well is a great call from Shurzy on the desk earlier. 3 dead again, back-to-back, by the way, for Online Warriors off these plays. As you're looking at the likes of Shady, you're looking at the likes of Mo's. Will their entry damage be enough, and will it be in the right position at the right time for their teammates to convert and grab some control? So far, that hasn't been the case early on in game number 1.
Well, off the break here, there's not too many points to separate the 2 teams. It's JLINGZ who have managed to kind of scrap a little bit of time here on the pink side of the tram setup, but nothing really too much to talk about. Only the 20 points on the board. That can be turned around very, very quickly here. Speaking of turning around very, very quickly, Cristona probably should have had the opportunity to do so because Snakey was snaking up behind him. Morgan's going to finish off the kill, and once again, we're seeing this battle mid-map at the moment. Flux trying to stop that oddball rotation, but he's not going to be able to do so, and Quad will get away.
Not a ton of points on the board just yet. JLINGZ right now leading 25-0, but over the course of play, that's not really a lot of points total. Bulldog comes out for a trade. 2 dead for the first time in a while for JLINGZ. Should be 3, and it should be an opportunity for Online Warriors to get some serious points on the board, but Septic doing all they can in the back of Tram.
Really important that Snakey just cleaned up that kill, because that's now the entire Tram side of the map cleared out by Online Warriors. All the respawns from JLINGZ will be pushing across the arcade street, probably spawning PD. That looks like where those spawns have come in, so this should be guaranteed time here. And if they play this one right, they should be close to tying up this game.
This weekend really been a mental test for these 2 sides. Let's not forget yesterday, JLINGZ found themselves on the receiving end, of a ruling they did not agree with. An opportunity where they could have gotten swept 3-0. They bounce back, they rally back, they find the mental strength to win that series in game number 5. It's a different story for Online Warriors, where this weekend has been a bit surprising. They've been losing game 5, and a lot of questions has been asked about them. This is the turning point. What does Online Warriors do here? Can they find the strength to dig deep and win this series?
Well, one player who needs to think about a turning point right now is going to be Shady. Yesterday, he dropped 40+ on Na'Vi, and still, unfortunately for him, ended up on the losing side of that game. A much slower start for him here. Currently sat at 2-6.
It's a great point, right? Shady has a lot on his mind right now. Is this a fall from grace from him? Undefeated years of play with the Ascent roster and one of the most talked about players in Europe. And all of a sudden, he finds himself in a very different place in the elimination bracket on a new team. And right now, a tall task ahead of him. They're down 48-12 early on.
Cristona just looking to lock down this balcony area so that he can get some eyes on those rockets. Managed to do a good job to do the damage, and the teammate cleans that one up, and now it should be in a nuisance. Flux gets taken down with 3, and Shady, Chris probably should have finished that one off, having the advantage with that Stalker rifle, but Shady makes the play. Morgan will clean things up, so luckily for JLINGZ there, they kind of get away with that one a little bit.
They do. Shady doing as much as he could there with the resistance in the back of the base. 51-14 now. It's a score on the board. Septic with the rocks. Boom, boom. On the driveway, the double kill will be picked up as well. That will mean more points on the board.
And that's why power weapons are so important. We always talk about it, right? That's now a 4v2 on the map and the oddball in the hands of JLINGZ. And they are starting to get a little bit closer towards closing out this round number 1. My concern here for Online Warriors is I can't see what the plan is. I can't see the organization in a push to break the setup. It just seems like a 1-by-1-by-1. We'll hope we win our 1v1 battles and see what happens off the back of it. And the organization of JLINGZ here is what is separating them as Mose gets put in the dirt as well.
Septic with another double kill, and it feels like the driveway double kills are the theme of the day
Great
for JLINGZ.
emo band, by the way.
Great emo band from the early 2000s, one of our favorites. 73-14 now, 1 dead for each side, and it just feels like the momentum and the composure is on the side of JLINGZ. You and I were talking about it when we were looking at the stage cams. It felt like you're looking at the JLINGZ player cams as well. There's smile on their faces. They're leaning into it. Online Warriors. We don't know if they have what it takes in this one. So far, they're being outscored heavily. Septic also laying in some extra shots in the death cams for Online Warriors to think about.
I think he was actually just trying to get his change out of the tram machine.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. We all know sometimes he doesn't give that back, and unfortunately, he's going to maybe not get the money back, but he certainly might pick up the round win here for his team. Kristola gets that final point on the board, and it's going to be 1-0 to JLINGZ here, and I think that they are looking and feeling and playing so confidently here.
3 out of 4 players on JLINGZ already on double digits. Nobody else on Online Warriors in the kills category on double digits. That tells the story right there. It's a clean win for JLINGZ, and they seem to still be firing. Online Warriors needs to respond now. They do not want to go down 1-0 in the series.
Needs to see more from Flux as well. He's currently sat at 5-12 in this game as his POV once again is exploding into the skies. This time the Rockets are going to be the cause of that, but he's struggled so far in this tournament. He's been very strong online. He's been the player who claimed he had the best Stalker rifle in Europe. At the moment, he used to put it to use.
Let's look at the numbers here. Kristola on your screen, 12-7. How about Quadios, 13-4? Good morning, Quadios. This man's ready for Championship Sunday.
Again, Quadios just in a position to help out a teammate who's in a 1v1 situation, creating a 2v1. And now, the pressure already on the respawns. Flux back in the death screen. Again, 5-14 now for Flux. This is great pressure coming from Online Warriors. And unfortunately for Flux, he's been on the receiving end.
But the quad avoids the grenades. He's going to stay in the L with the Bulldog. They're playing very aggressive. They're playing mid-map here. This is not the easiest hold to do, especially against Online Warriors, but they're on the same page, and they will keep 2 dead.
It's consistent pressure as well. It's 2 players pushing the same kills. You saw, before he even got the second Bulldog shot off there, it was cleaned up by a teammate, so the communication is crisp. It's where it needs to be, and at the moment, Online Warriors really don't look like they have a chance in this map.
It's a very delicate balance when you are playing Neons and Bulldog and benches to get the kills all the way at PD and Caution and then rotate back to benches and still hold the L. A lot of players are going to be tempted to tuck back into Tram and try to maybe hold from there. Instead, they have really good mid-map pressure, and once again gives them about a 25-point lead.
Finally, we see Online Warriors breaking this out for the time being, but JLINGZ have 4 alive. Now, can they hold? That's the question here. Snaky is going to be now left in a little bit of a difficult situation because 2 players are flying from the driveway. His teammate fell due to the remote detonation somewhere else on the map, and now you can see they've had to throw that ball out. It's been too easy for JLINGZ just to walk in here, and Quadios is going to finish off this life for Snaky.
Quad is 18-6. This is a wild start for him in this series. The man is on a mission, and he is performing so far. Also a nice little rocket grab, a 2-man push, but right now, Online Warriors will neutralize that threat and get 2 dead.
Yeah, multiple rockets have gone into the hands of JLINGZ as well. It's not the first time we've seen it. Quad finally will lose a battle, but there's Septic to clean it up once more. And I mentioned how Flux was like that Stalker rifle. Well, Septic has used it extremely effectively in this game as well. He's currently sat at 15-9 in this game, and 10 assists means that Stalker rifle's been chipping away at shields too.
Absolutely. Mo's trying to stay alive here on back commando. The nades are flying in, but he's well to time himself away from those. Eventually, the kills will be traded out. 4 dead, though, for Online Warriors, and I think we want to remember that Online Warriors, the second they catch fire, they can perform, but they have not done that yet in game number 1.
Shady just flying out of PD there towards the arcade street. Quad getting some damage down, Quad getting a trade. And I mean, that's just staggering everything, right? That means when we go over to Septic POV now, he knows he's got time to breathe because one of those players is still back in the respawn screen. So JLINGZ closing in now, just 30 points away from not only winning the round, but winning this map and being up 1-0.
Septic felt the pressure, and not only does he play the ball driveway, he rotates the ball driveway as well. And they'll continue picking up exactly where they were in the points category. 3 dead, though, for JLINGZ. And We'll see what Online Warriors has in the tank.
Well, there's Cristola, and he somehow gets a kill, gets away. Flux will finally manage to shut it down, and the ball shall be collected by Flux. Now, what can you do with this Online Warriors? Where are you trying to push? What are you trying to clean out? You've got the kills, but they're already being beaten to mid-map. They're already under pressure, and they're just not doing a good enough job for me of really creating opportunities for that ball carrier to feel safe.
Nor are they shutting down the slaying powerhouse of JLINGZ. 23-9 for Quadios. Not gonna lie, these are numbers that you don't always see on the main stage, and certainly not late on a championship Sunday.
23-9 with 36 seconds of ball time as well. It's not like he's just been running around and ignoring the objective. He's been doing it all, and I tell you what, we were having a discussion. This Sentinel beam hits so hard on LAN. It just seems to be cranked up a couple more degrees than it does at home.
It really does. It feels like at least 25% faster that kill time. Watch this thing. It's just gonna shred. It's just gonna melt. It's a killing spree for Quadios. He's 26-9.
He is frying with that thing, and he is frying in-game. It doesn't matter what weapon he's got in his hands, or if it's an oddball, because JLINGZ close things out. Here on map number 1 on Streets Oddball, they got 1-0 in the series.
Oh my God, he's gonna end the game on 26-9 as well. Those are stats that if you're on the other side for Online Warriors, you're looking at those numbers and you're thinking, we should never be letting a player do that to us in a game. JLINGZ looking good. They'll take the first game. They're up 1-0.
Looking good, I think, is an understatement, to be honest with you. Looking dominant.
I
looking
apologize.
Yeah, looking like they shouldn't be in this kind of position, because that was destructive, to be honest with you. And again, it's that organization, right? It's that cohesion that the players seem to have. The way they're working together in those twos is very, very impressive. Yes, they lost a little bit earlier to Ascend to find themselves in this position in the elimination bracket, but those games were pretty close.
They were close, and I think that series score in the end maybe didn't do justice overall. I think Clutch was saying that he thought that Ascend looked like the clear top team. I think the score lines were close enough. We went down to overtime flag. I think JLINGZ has a lot of story yet to write this weekend. Of course, Online Warriors thinking the same thing, but they find themselves on the receiving end of a 26-9 from Quadios and an overall 200-40 loss in 11 minutes to play.
Look at those assists that Septic and Morga put on the board as well. I think it was 30 between them. That is just ridiculous. If you've got 2 players assisting as well as picking up kills for 30 different occasions, it's no surprise to see Quadios put up those numbers.
Single-handedly out-assisted Online Warriors just as a duo.
That's absolutely ridiculous, and a lot of these kills you're going to be seeing going down here are going to be in and around that tramp, and I think it was very difficult for Online Warriors to coordinate in a way where they could not only fight in places where they could pick up kills and kind of chip away at that setup, but especially when you're going against players who've got the Stalker Rifle and the Bulldog, which seem to be controlled so many times by JLINGZ.
JLINGZ played that game type, honestly, in a way that was more aggressive than we typically see, regardless, and there's some extra shots that you saw there from Septic, but regardless of skill level, you rarely see top teams playing that high up on Cafe, that high up on Neons consistently and performing, right? It's one thing to start to try to spawn trap, but to stay alive, to get the kills, and here's Quadios at the end just absolutely schmelting.
Yeah, I mean, the one reason that you'll see Quadios, for example, like we saw him pushing up onto that Cafe spawn to hit those PD players who are coming off respawn, is that you're then narrowing, you're forcing the entire Online Warriors team to not only go into one of the narrowest areas to fight from and where that ball is furthest away, but if you put yourself in the tram position, right, the only entrances from that position are you drop mid-map, you've got great vision, you go to B stairs, one of the easiest kills you could ask for, or you're funneling into driveway, which if you've got a player on the balcony and inside of the tram on the balcony, it's just so simple to deal with.
Double kills on the driveway. Once again, that's exactly what's the game plan. And what's so impressive about JLINGZ is, yes, you can get the damage from Cafe and Neons. It requires a full 4-player team effort to understand what's required after that damage, right? Yeah. You have to know what you're pinching. If your players on C-Balk aren't watching rail and stairs, if you're not correctly watching driveway, that will fall apart. That setup will become Swiss cheese, but JLINGZ on the same page as one another. It's a convincing 2-0 win without a doubt. They now head to Slayer Aquarius, a Slayer map that certainly can be played just as quickly.
Yeah, and this is going to be an interesting one for me, because Online Warriors online have looked very, very good on this map. They had a crazy Slayer record. I can't remember what it was in one of the Pro Series. I don't think they dropped one, although that might be slightly untrue. There might be 1 or 2 that slipped through the fingers, but it seemed like every time they were in a Slayer match, they would come out on top, and they need to right now. They need to show me something. Quoting Wes Price, show me something right now, Online Warriors, because at the moment I'm struggling to believe.
I think they need to believe in themselves as well, right? I think players like Shady, the new addition to this roster, he knows what he's capable of individually. He needs to believe that his teammates are going to be there. Get the damage, bank on your teammates to get the finished kills, and that'll be the task ahead of them here. Here we are into game number 2. Online Warriors looking to tie the series.
I'll go as far as to say as well, if Online Warriors do not win this game, I think the series might be over pretty quickly, because the mental's really going to start falling apart for them. When you've had so many difficult losses throughout a weekend, it all starts to stack up and it all starts to play on the mind. It's 4-2 now at the start of this game for JLINGZ. Camo in the hands of the man who was just decimating in our previous map, and that is Quad.
Quad here on your screen. 5-3, has the camo in hand. Knows he needs to play this a little bit slowly, so it's going to be pings and also a lot of opportunity for cleanup here. You wonder what the J stands for in JLINGZ. Sometimes it's the cleanup crew here, as now Quad stays alive. 8-3. Let's go into an Astro listening with the strategy.
Yeah, they're pushing me, Jen. I'm weak, guys.
Going up behind him. Yo, play flag, got kill. One behind us, Jen. Yellow Jen as well.
Yeah, weak.
Top blue Jen moves.
Yellow Jen, guys. One shot, yellow Jen. Use car 1, use the E-wave.
One shot down.
Absolute car 1, guys. Still car 1, one shot coming to you here. One shot car 1 still, guys.
Still car 1.
Go ahead. Yo, play P side. Spawn a Jen. I'm getting out.
Yo, come I actually just fly for this kid.
Yo, we can play P.
Carnage.
You're alone. P set rope.
Come on here. Absolute Carnage. Absolute Carnage. One from red as well.
P2 weak. Got one shot on him, Chris. I'm chilling with you. Got him. P2 again.
America.
No, we went.
No, weak. Yellow first.
Watch out, boys. Absolute, boys. P2. Absolute P2 right now, Hamza.
Yeah, I'm back as well.
We're getting pinched, yeah.
P1, boys. P2's chilling, you guys.
We got B down. One shot in the fridge.
This
on 10, boys.
You guys there. One in your court as well.
Spawn Jan, boys. I'm gonna play card.
I don't think they know.
Carries behind him.
On that, your cuts, your shrooms, your shrooms.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, your shrooms. One shot P2, first kill. Absolute, he's red side. Red side P2, one shot.
Fire, boys.
Blue
Fire.
One split fire.
The score has got a lot closer than it was when we joined the listening. It's now tied up at 14-14 as the camo's coming up. But once again, JLINGZ, the kind of communication we're hearing from them is what you need to hear in these tight games. They are still calm, they're still composed, they still know what has to be done.
Killjoy there, and extra shots from Quadios into Snaky, but not before Snaky goes on that killing spree. He's already got 5 on the board, but it's another camo for JLINGZ here. Online Warriors able to rally back. To be honest, Flux staying alive on Dynamos was big. It felt like a swing kill. He's able to get them back in the game, and now they're within 2, but Cristola with an opportunity here to extend the lead.
There's so much information as well. If his teammates can do damage, then he can capitalize on it. That's exactly what happens. He has the easy one shot, but he's got to be a little bit more active here for me. Mose will challenge him as he sees that camo player, and now Cristola just has to slow things down for a second as 19-17 will mean a 2-kill advantage here for JLINGZ.
Yeah, that runs down now to just about a 1-kill, 20-19. The camo will run out. Cristola maybe wanted a little bit more out of that camo if he could have.
Yeah.
I agree, though. Mainly was an information play. He's able to pick up a few kills, but maybe would have preferred to get a few more, but some great help on the Dynamo side.
Yeah, great help coming in from teammate Shady. You almost expected him to win that one, but it's going to be Cristola who takes down Flux. And this man has become a different beast here in Valencia than what we've seen previously.
Online Warriors, though, it must be said, bouncing back in a big way after that game number 1. They did not really stand a chance, and to be honest, we were a bit worried when we went into the listening because it was about 11-8, and the comms were so calm on the side of JLINGZ, but Online Warriors, they're digging deep. Now leading in the series, now tied, leading in the game for the first time, but we tied back up at 24.
The good thing here for Online Warriors as well, even though this is such a tight game and now they actually go into a lead, is that they haven't even had a camo to play with at this point. If they get a camouflage in their hands, then maybe we can see them start to build a lead here. 2 kills the difference between the 2 teams, but Online Warriors starting to show some life. And speaking of that camo, Shady's top middle looking for it.
And one of the players that we talked about that needed to step up, that was going to be, once again, Shurzy called it perfectly on the desk. He's looking at Snaky and Mose, your entry players. Those 2 players have 10 and 9 kills respectively. They are leading the game, and Online Warriors now has taken the lead as well. 29-26. Let's go into an Astro listening with Online Warriors.
Okay.
You need to make a play.
Yeah,
2 flag and 1 pistol.
Electric nade.
I can't. Red pistol.
Let's put one shot. I got one. Let's put this again.
One shot. Nice. 2 pistol weak. Okay.
Collapse on these guys.
I'm coming from back flag.
Collapsing. Where'd they go? They must have car free.
Let's off.
Quick, on your sticky.
Absolutely. Yeah. He went top car. He's watched top car. He's hiding top car. Top car. Left side. Close.
On me.
Where is he?
One shot.
Check car 1. Go behind you.
Double. Step cheek.
Trying to stay alive.
Which double step cheek? And one guy car 2. Where?
Yeah, blue pistol.
I'm still left.
Don't die. Don't make solo, please. Don't feed.
On the top up, boys.
Yeah, you're down.
You on me. Yeah, got me.
It's one shot. Don't go.
I'm just P1.
One shot P1. Oh, I didn't die. P1, my bad.
Fuck P, guys. You want to weak bug up? Yeah, one on the front base. I got him.
Nice, boys.
Alright, play together.
Very, very interesting listening there, Andy. There was a lot of things that jumped out to me, and some of them was like, you got to do this. Don't do this.
Yeah.
And they kind of talking to each other, just kind of reflection on what's happened and what could happen.
I think that's maybe just the summary of the state of affairs for Online Warriors. Shady has the camo, and the first thing we hear in a listening is you need to make a play. Generally, the camo player knows they need to make a play, right? So the fact that that has to be said, I mean, in the end, though, Shady made a great set of plays there to stay alive, and he got the help he needed from base. But in the end, we're tied 35-35. They do not take advantage of those plays, and they've let JLINGZ back in the game.
They have, and now you're going to see them try and collapse on these last two players alive. Shady gets taken down by Septic. Flux will at least trade it out, but you're seeing that swing once again, 36-36. This could not be any tighter, and these are the kills and these are the moments that really matter. Shady might have just given one away though. He's trying to stay alive, but Castola will hunt him down, and now he has the heat wave too.
Look at that, with barely taking any damage as well. Even taps a little shot into the base to fake that one out, and now they lead 39-38.
And Septic got away with the camo, I'm pretty sure as well. Oh no, Castola, do not make this mistake. He gets away with it. And it turns into a killing spree. Picking up the camo at this point in the game, though, this could be the difference. It's 40-38. It is the slimmest of margins that they have on their side, but that could change very quickly.
How can you not love watching Castola there? He misses the first heat wave shot, hits the second, little smile on his face. He's cool, calm, and collected. Now they have a 1-kill lead.
And he has the thrust. Septic's run out of camo. Quadios picks up some kills though, and now you're going to see Castola trying to stay alive. The support is there from his teammate Septic, but Flux is on the move as well. He's on the prowl, and he picks up a big double to bring this back within one.
Huge double for Flux. We talked about how his game number one was less than ideal. Big kills coming in from Online Warriors. They take the lead now on the home stretch, 44-43.
Mose is going to have a heat wave down in front of him as well. He does manage to pick that one up, so Mose can now play nice and slow. He can play some corners, and he can pick off some players. Quadios might be one of those. He takes a little dig in the back, but it's not going to be enough for that knockout blow. It's tied up now with 6 kills to go.
This is nervy here. We talked about how much is on the line in this series. Neither team wanting to be the one to make the mistake right here. This is either 2-0 JLINGZ or the series is tied 1-1.
Time not a factor here either. So much time to play with. 45-45. There are the dynamo grenades. They are going to tick. They are going to burn. They are going to singe. But they're not going to put Mose into the death screen. But Shady will fall, and Morga is now pushing on the gen.
Oh boy, one dead. We'll have to see if the push comes in. They have a minor man advantage, but more importantly, look at the camo. 5 seconds. The battle for this camo will likely decide it.
Who's going to make the play on it, though? You have to wonder if anyone's going to try and get it, or maybe it's just Castola who's going to create an opening here. Quadios picks up another. It's 2 more to go, but Quadios gets taken down. 1 more kill here for JLINGZ, but Mose is making plays for Morga, and Quadios will combine to close things out, and JLINGZ again show ice in the Slayer. Now they're 1 game away from not only staying alive here in Valencia, but qualifying for Orlando.
Wow. Tied at 44. All the pressure on them, and JLINGZ makes the push happen. They get the opening damage, they get the picks they needed, and like you said, big double kills coming in. And it seems like the JLINGZ fairy tale, especially in the Slayer department, will continue. It's another Slayer win, 50-47. It seems they prefer to win their Slayers by only 2 or 3.
It doesn't matter how you win them though, does it? As long as it says dub at the end of it, you're all good with it. Now the thing for JLINGZ to keep in mind here, we've been talking about game 5s, how they've won those game 5s. The worst thing that can happen for JLINGZ right now is to find themselves in a game 5. You have to close this out here and now. You have such an opportunity against a team who mentally must be going through the ringer right now.
Absolutely. Snaky and Mose able to put a lot of kills on the board there, but in the end, it was no match for the teamwork of JLINGZ at the very end. Great pushes there, and it felt like they were able to slip through the cracks, right? They had fridge pressure, top mid pressure, even a little bit of pressure on Dynamo, and that forces a little bit of chaos. And when you're in a scenario when it's 44-44 and you get that much damage, JLINGZ made sure they struck. They struck when the iron was hot and very quickly. And they did not waste any time on that final push.
Always love it when a team is proactive in those tight moments at the end of a game as well. And that's exactly what JLINGZ was. I mean, Snakebite says it a lot. He's like, I'd rather die in a 49-49 trying to get the 50th kill than be sat in a corner and find myself getting pushed. You know, you've got to go out with the mentality you are going to win the game, not allow someone else on your team to do so. And it seems like everyone on JLINGZ was on the same page. They all wanted to close that out in some fashion. And even though Online Warriors had a huge comeback in the middle of that game, it just wasn't enough.
Second to last camo was a big play as well. Also, just look at the composure here from Chris. Like we said, he misses the first, but he taps the second 2 for that killing spree. And what looked like it could have been an Online Warriors come from behind win. Look at this from Mose. I don't know if he has to go from base here. Gonna get pinched from the bottom of the car side and from the fridge. That will cost him, and reactions there from the side of JLINGZ. We'll take a look at the series. A big convincing win from JLINGZ in game number 1, but they squeak out the game number 2 win after almost forfeiting quite a sizable lead. As you say, though, regardless, it's 2 wins on the board. They now find themselves 1 win away from a clean sweep, a continuation in the bracket, 1 step closer to that trophy on your screen, and a guaranteed trip to the Orlando Major.
It's a long shopping list. It's a long shopping list of things to tick off, and it's going to be one that they have the opportunity to do, like you say. But now we go over to Livefire. Strongholds is going to be our game type. If there's one player who loves this map and loves this game type, his name is Shady. He moves so quickly around the map and has the ability to put up huge numbers. I just wonder, though, is he going to have the support from his teammates here to convert this into a game that goes to Online Warriors and sends us into a game 4.
If you're a fan of Online Warriors here, you're simply hoping that they continue believing. Let's not forget, they just lost that Slayer by only 3. If 1 or 2 things go differently at the end of that game, this is a 1-1 series. Online Warriors on their side of the stage need to remember that. Play this game like it's the first game of the series. Fly into this. Don't even worry about the first 2 games of the series, because as we said, they have the skill, they have the expertise and the experience to take this series in a reverse sweep, but I think they've got to believe in themselves a bit more.
I really have been impressed by JLINGZ in this tournament as well, and I want to just give a little bit of time here while we load up this next game and get into it, just to give a lot of credit towards Cristola and Quadios as well. 2 of these players who, when they started competing at live events, really felt the pressure and the nerves in the situations they found themselves in, and they found it difficult to actually perform in the way that they would have wanted to. They look like different beasts right now. It looks like they have adapted to the environment. The belief, not only in their teammates is there, but in their own ability to execute in those moments. And numerous times throughout this run that they've been on, it's been Cristola, it's been Quadios who have clutched up in those big moments.
It really does feel like the Quad Cristola duo. Not only are they firing on all cylinders, but every time we get to their POV or the stage cams, smiles on their faces, right? They're having a great time up here.
A lot could be said about that, and confidence, we've seen it from Na'Vi, right? Jimbo talking about it on the desk, what a different player he's looked all of a sudden because of the confidence, because of the belief. And that's exactly what Online Warriors are going to need to find, because at the moment it doesn't seem that there's a leader, kind of a vocal voice on that team that is taking a leadership role just to pick everyone up again and say, boys, it's time to start the reverse sweep. Let's keep this run going. We do not want to be falling out of this tournament right now. Let's get this game on the board and let's make JLINGZ sweat.
That is a task ahead of him. Shady on your screen here, the new addition to this roster. Does he have what it takes, along with the entire blue team, to get back into this series and stay alive in the tournament?
Well, early on, it's not looking good for Online Warriors because they've lost 3, they've lost all of the power weapons, and they've lost 2 of the strongholds, and they've already got Quad collapsing onto C, looking for that triple cap. So a perfect opening coming in from JLINGZ, and they need to take advantage of it now.
Also got Snipe in hand, not afraid to use the Heatwave as a sniper rifle either, apparently, as he's going to be looking for shots from distance. Flux actually sneaks away with the overshield. Surprising to see Quad deprioritize that for just a moment. It will be an overshield grab for Online Warriors.
Yeah, I think he was aware that Snakey was in the area and has to deal with him first. The body shot is going to be enough just to drop the shields, but he's going to come under pressure here from numerous angles. But I got a little bit worried there because Flux kind of got away with it, and that was an opportunity to backsmack that Ovi and take it out of the game.
Little bit of a get out of jail free card there, as Flux was probably only 1 or 2 feet, apologies, just under a meter away, as we're here in Southern Europe. I'll get my measurements correct. From a back whack, and that could have been devastating for their team. And a little bit of control here now from Online Warriors, and we talk about it all the time, Mark. The little things, all these little inches and margins, centimeters and margins that can be the difference maker in these games.
I appreciate you.
I'm trying.
Well, Mose is going to be pushing in with a repulsor. He's going to get the finish onto Morgan. Now, if there's one game type that can get momentum on your side, it's Strongholds. You can start to roll. You can start to really punish teams if you can get a triple cap. But for Online Warriors, there's been signs of life, but JLINGZ again have held strong in this situation. They didn't let it get out of hand, and now they're picking up those slays. They are keeping Online Warriors on those split spawns.
It's a worrying trade there for Online Warriors, because when they thought they had a little bit of control, at the same time, JLINGZ is able to control BC, and Quadios comes from behind. There's not even any comms to know about it. And look at this now. Just getting swarmed, Shady bottom middle. That'll be a perfect push on the overshield into the hands of Quadios, and he will just continue rolling. They're up 57-19.
Finally, Shady looks at Quadios, because at the moment it looks like Online Warriors think he's got camo as well. He's just walking around, he's behind everyone, he's making it look extremely simple, and they need to start stepping up this communication here, Online Warriors. They look like a team that's ready to be beaten to go home. They are done in the tournament, because you can't allow a player just to walk behind you, take two of you out, and just stand still as the overshield is coming up, because this is what will happen.
Shady doing everything he can on A, just trying to drill that overshield, but I mean, how composed was Quadios there? He just goes back in, contests, pulls out the plasma pistol, starts shooting it on individual shots. It just looks too easy for JLINGZ right now.
Well, there is a little bit of life maybe here for Online Warriors, as they do have BNC in their control. You see that Shady's already trying to pressurize A, and all of the spawn is now trapped inside of A for JLINGZ. So this is a chance to collapse. This is a chance to get damage and start putting all of JLINGZ on a horrible spawn cycle. If they can do that, they might not be too far away from thinking about triple cap here.
Yeah, Online Warriors fans would love to see some resilience here and a bounce back to get back in this series. Right now, they're certainly back in the game. 2 dead for Online Warriors, they'll make it 3 dead, and even though they brought the game within 13 points, that will be more points on the board off the back of that for JLINGZ, and also a sniper in the hands of Septic.
Too easy. It's just far too easy. Septic goes for the no-scope, misses one, bodies Mose with the second, but you just think about the situation that Online Warriors had in front of them there, right? They have all 4 players trapped inside A, and they go 3 dead. Unacceptable. You cannot let that happen in that situation. You have to apply pressure. You have to get shots down if you want to put JLINGZ back on the back foot. At the moment, it's too easy for them to break out of this. It's BC in their hold once more. It's 82-54, and Morgan has the snipe top tower.
Let's see what Morgan can do here, with the sniper rifle. Quite a sizable lead in a game that was just about a 13-point difference. Triple cap for JLINGZ, top tower control as well.
And now Morgan's going to be in a position to get so much information as well. He doesn't know there's a player just below him bottom tower, but his teammate is going to find that information out for him. Flux stays alive for now. That'll be nice. That'll be good. And now he's bodying the overshield as well. Snaky, I'll tell you what, if I'm Morgan right now, I'm thinking about a challenge, but he's a smarter man than I.
You definitely will be challenging there. I have absolutely no doubt. Snaky, and eventually he late pops that Ovi. That's how he gets away with that. And eventually he shuts down what probably was going to be a Morgan triple kill with Quadios. Flies into the back of the tower, and they waste no time. It'll be 2 dead for JLINGZ. We'll see what Online Warriors do. Triple kill for Shady. We catch the last second of it, so we've not maybe heard the last of Online Warriors. They're trying to show signs of life.
Yeah, they are trying desperately to show signs of life. You're completely and utterly right, and they need to, because at the moment, it's starting to get like a little bit of pressurized situation here for JLINGZ. They have 3 dead here, Online Warriors, but Flux has just been such a nuisance here for Septic. It's an awful battle, but it ends up getting resolved. But look at the score. Even though we've been saying a lot of good stuff about how JLINGZ have been playing, how Online Warriors have been struggling a little bit, this hasn't got out of hand at any point. It's 131-81. 1 triple cap and this changes.
Certainly still within this here, and Shady coming back from the heavens for just a moment. Back down to B. They do get the first pick here, but that will be traded out pretty quickly. And I think what we need to see here, as it's 3 dead, and actually Shady going to be the last player alive, and he does well to trade and get a double kill, but really it's become a numbers game in this Strongholds match. And the reason you're seeing a 133-88 and what's about to be an A-B flip as well is largely because JLINGZ is getting the opening damage and converting, and I think Online Warriors needs to focus on the slays and the damage here if they want to come back in the game.
Overshield coming up as well in a few seconds' time, so Septic, nice little shot there. I think he just clipped the kneecaps of Mose to take him down to no shield, but there is Shady on the flank, causing problems as Septic falls.
Lots of pressure coming in for Shady. They will get A and C, but you have to wonder at what cost. They will find themselves 2 dead. Now Shady should have an opportunity, Flux should have an opportunity for this overshield grab.
Top shield goes down as well. Kristola is going to have the heat wave, but the only problem for Flux is here. Yes, he's got the overshield, but he doesn't have numbers. He's got players flying at him, but he picks up 2. He turns it into 3 and manages to give space for teammates to now get back into the map. Because of that triple kill, B has now flipped as well. Flux makes a play to create some opportunity here for Online Warriors.
Is that the turning point? Is that the play that Online Warriors needed? As we said, they've been silenced a lot more than fans of European Halo would have expected, as Flux will continue dealing damage, and they will keep 2 dead. Maybe an opportunity, but during all that control, nice shot there onto Quadios. They'll finally get B, but you have to think it's taken them a lot of time. So much slaying control, but not always the control they need in terms of strongholds.
Now, 1 body shot here from Flux, and I want to see Online Warriors get aggressive. I want to see them push, but timing is such a problem sometimes. Looks away at the last second. after not seeing anyone poking, and now he's just getting flooded by players from JLINGZ, and he gets eliminated. So unfortunate, that situation, but you need to have the patience, and maybe, again, just the communication slightly off from teammates and what is happening on the map.
And that's the blessing of observer mode, right? We see exactly how tight those moments were as he just looked away about 3 separate times away from the doorways that he could have been watching. And the damage could have gone a lot differently, but instead it will continue to be JLINGZ in the lead in what could be the series closing game number 3. They're up 170 to 120.
2v2 on the map at the moment. Big battle going down here at B. Mose is inside of the hill. Mose will get the trade, and you can see it's half captured here. Kristola last alive. Shady inside of B, and Kristola is going to be forced in the contest here. So all of the resources from both teams at the moment dedicated to B, but the nades just rain down from the heavens from JLINGZ, and Online Warriors feel the brunt of it.
It also was very costly for Online Warriors because Flux came in as well to help and support, but he was about 1 second late in doing so. They lose another death, and they get on a really bad spawn cycle. However, during all of that, it still should be an Online Warriors overshield in the hands of Mose. Can he keep the team alive and in this tournament?
2 overshields in a row here, but look at it, it's 3 players just dealing damage to him. Septic's going to be challenging him as well, and the overshield is as good as toasted now. But what's happening elsewhere? You can see why Mose is engaging with 3 other players. Finally, Online Warriors step into some strongholds. Mose gets taken down, but B and C get flipped, and Online Warriors will at least be scoring here.
Not over yet. 48 points to go for JLINGZ to get the clean sweep. And one of the most convincing victories we've seen this late in a Sunday bracket in quite some time. But not over yet. Online Warriors with a chance to bounce back, maybe stay alive. But we're watching B getting flipped on your screen as we speak.
Great damage from Quadios as well. 2 different players, removes 2 different shields. And now he'll pick up a kill as well on a 3rd separate entity. Now he's turning his attention to Shady. Sees the spawn for Mose as well. So that information, once again, so vital. He can rotate back, pick up this sniper. Now they'll flip C.
JLINGZ not worried about it at all. They get the C flip now. They need to pressure on B, and body shots like that are going to be a big difference maker. Chaos in the back of B. Also chaos here at C. Quad trying to stay alive. 2 dead for JLINGZ. Online Warriors answering back. Now 3 dead.
They are indeed. And all of a sudden, it seems like Online Warriors have realized that this could be the end of their tournament if they don't win this game. They're starting to play. They're starting to communicate. They're starting to play with each other as well, which is the most important thing. A and B in their hold, and they are closing in slowly but surely on that 208-point lead that currently is in the hands of JLINGZ.
Maybe they're finding what they needed deep here, realizing that their tournament life is on the line. You have to wonder where this was earlier in this series, but we do have an opportunity while they're trying to claw back for an Astro listening with Online Warriors.
One shot in pillars, Chris. One shot in pillars as well. OV.
Coming up the right now, boys.
Nice, Akal. OV. Yeah, hey, not mine. Alright, we need to get OV, guys. We need to get OV. I'm alone.
I'm here, man.
Don't go for it. Alright, get it, Shady.
You're good.
Nice.
Let's go. I'm good.
Okay, go. Okay. Let's not one shot. I can't help you.
Two guys back down.
They're playing
C. 3 guys playing C.
C boxes, we Chris. Let's fight this. Yeah.
Yep. Go on. Let's fucking go, guys.
Back tower, 1 shot.
One shot. I'm bottom tower as well.
On tower weak.
I can't.
Quick door. 1 middle.
Pillars. Yeah. C still in C. Bottom tower. Help me see, guys. Help me see.
Yeah, we're coming. Coming.
One shot. A as well. One shot.
I'm getting B. AC even.
2A, boys. 2A.
One.
Don't die to him. Nice. Alright, let's play B now.
Okay.
I'm gonna
go. Let's fucking go.
Let's go B. Play B, boys. Play B. Yeah. Big door. It's gonna be.
Let's go. I got 2.
It's gonna be maybe back B. Careful.
Yeah, back B. One shot back B.
I'm watching this. Yeah, big door. We play.
Well, as we jump back into this game, what a turnaround it's been, and it seems like Shady has decided it's my time to breathe some energy into the team. I'm not sure if he's saying it, we call it speaking in French sometimes when we're here in English, or is he trying to, hype up Flux a bit, but he's saying, let's Flux and go, whatever it might be. Every time he's getting a kill, Shady's starting to get a bit loud.
Wow, what a run from Online Warriors here. They've crossed the 200-point mark. Now, just like that, it's a 14-point game. They will continue scoring as well. And a brilliant call here from our DreamHack production team to get that listening as Online Warriors have done it. They are back in the game.
They are back in the game, but being back in it does not turn into a win. They now need to keep this pressure on. They need to close it out. And on the other side of things, JLINGZ need to show the ice we've seen all tournament long from them.
Flux able to get the kill on Sandbags. That's huge. That will give them still one dead here, but look at the scoreboard. Not much to go. It's only now 18 points for JLINGZ to close it out.
Gets the beat down onto Morga, who's bottom middle, and I'm pretty sure the overshield will be picked up here by Online Warriors. Now, they need to put this to use, and they need to do it quickly, because look at the score, 244 and rising.
Oh.
Mo's taken out of B. Flux, he's in B, and he's trying to get a last-second conversion, which he will be able to do just about.
That is huge, that is huge. They're 3 dead, though. Shady was the only player alive. They need to go right now. This could be the end.
Oh my word, Morgan just sends everybody back into the Shadow Realm with this sniper rifle. B will get flipped, he's still alive somehow or other here, gets the beat down. Quadios is there for the cleanup, and the cleanup of the series is complete. It is a sweep here on the main stage as JLINGZ take down Online Warriors 3-0.
In the end, a clean sweep for JLINGZ. That game 3 very different from the rest of the series. 250 to 233 is your final. And you can just tell by the reactions on the side of Online Warriors, they're going to be left asking themselves, where were those team comms? Where was that focus earlier in the series?
Yeah, where was that fire, right? It just seemed like they were just turning up and kind of playing the video game instead of realizing this is the end of our tournament if we don't win here. But congratulations to JLINGZ. Not only do they stay alive here in the elimination bracket, they also qualify for the Orlando Major. So JLINGZ, they're going over the sea.
They're coming here to our next global major, and as we said, that series was everything on the line. Online Warriors will head home with an unfortunate finish for their side, and JLINGZ, like we said, they will continue in the bracket. They will look at even more prize money, a 3-0 sweep, and the bonus of a guaranteed spot at the Orlando Major. 250 to 221 is your final there in that game number 3, and as you said, a huge credit to JLINGZ. The fairy tale continues. They will continue on.
And they will want to get back into the next series as well, because they're looking great right now. JLINGZ been so impressed with them, and I'm sure they would love another crack at Ascend if they do get the opportunity to do so. The organization, once again, the standout thing for me, but there's also seems to be a little bit of steel about this team in those close situations.
I mean, they continue to clutch up there. Also in the Slayer as well, right? They're not afraid to make the final push. Like you said, be the aggressors, be the decision makers. That confidence is showing in that gameplay. It continues to show in their momentum, their energy, and everything that we're seeing on stage from them. They're looking good. It's another 3-0 sweep.
Well, JLINGZ get the sweep, as we say, 3-0. Unfortunately, Online Warriors out of the tournament for now, but JLINGZ are going to the Orlando Major, and most importantly, we'll see them in the next series here in Valencia.
Well, it certainly is a Cinderella story, isn't it? My goodness, JLINGZ, they really turn up when it matters most. So they've shown us pretty much that they can achieve the absolute unthinkable. You know, they go to a really close game 5 previously, managed to seal the deal, clutch up, have the ice. We've also seen them in sweeps, and now we've seen them under pressure. You know, they're one series away from going home, from not qualifying for Orlando, but they managed to do it on the main stage in such a dominant fashion. Gaskin, what are your thoughts, your feelings? You know, how are you feeling about JLINGZ?
I think yeah, can you feel them?
Yeah,
feeling
that's a JLINGZ absolute slappage in my left shoulder, because they knew they were going to win that series. There was no pop-off, no reaction. That was business. That was, we're expecting to win this series. We know we're better than the Online Warriors. Let's make sure we put it into effect here in what was a very solid 3-0. Sure, there were a couple of moments where Online Warriors showed a little bit of promise, but as all tournament long, this is not the same Online Warriors we saw online. And I'm a little bit worried for what happens next for this team. I would probably put my house on them not being together next week.
The house?
Yeah, the house. That's a probably going to pay out as well. That's the problem. I think for Online Warriors, they were a shell of the team they once were. That's the problem. And for JLINGZ, massive congratulations. They get to go to Orlando now with Sun Sea and, of course, also a bit of Jersey as well. So massive congratulations to them.
Massive congratulations to them. Absolutely incredible. I mean, it was awesome to see Morga popping off the end there as well. Sniper in hand. I mean, who else's hand would it be in? Morga just to seal the deal. And look at that series layout. Pretty gorgeous, if I do say so myself. JLINGZ right across the board there, looking absolutely amazing. Despite a slight little comeback potential happening there for Online Warriors in that final Strongholds Life-Fire Lethal, they were looking really good. Were you impressed with the composure that was coming through when Online Warriors started putting on the pressure a lot right at the end there, trying to flip things around? But JLINGZ, they denied everything.
But he did deny everything, and it was a bit of a shock to the system. But not only that, it was the way they played in-game compared to how they were talking and communicating outside the game. It was very calm, collective. And normally when comms are like that, normally we see a lot more of these teams surgically dissecting parts on their map and trying to do whatever they can. But it looks chaotic in-game, but at the same time, it was just weird because normally see the comms go with the in-game stats and what's going on. But honestly, JLINGZ have been looking the best I've seen all year round.
Oh, 100%. They're turning up when it matters most, and turning up on the desk, we have Morga. Oh, dude, it's so good to see you back up here. I think this is 3 times now?
3 times in a row, yeah.
3
there
times.
We just can't get you up.
Just keep winning. It's easy just if you keep
it
winning.
going.
I told you last time, it's a good job you're on the desk because it means you're doing the right job out there. You're winning, right? And I've got to say, what an incredible, incredible series that we saw behind us. You guys are just really performing so well. And you've qualified for Orlando. Does that mean a lot? Because I know that you kind of talking to us about getting top 6, and then maybe it was top 4, and now Orlando. It sealed the deal. You guys are going across the sea, and you're going to be playing with the best of the best in the world. How do you feel?
I mean, I'm very happy that we, you know, we sealed the deal here, and I mean, we're confident before we go into this match that we would have won it. I mean, everything is just clicking. It's nice. The comms are nice, as you said. It's really, yeah, we know what to do, and yeah, it just clicks. You know, we know they're individually very, very good, but you know, if you have 2 versus 1, then you should beat them. You know, body up and get out there.
Let's talk about the series. In game 1 and 2 was pretty clean, smooth sailing, it must be said. I think for game 3, though, there is that moment where they look like they're going to make that comeback, and there's always that part you start to panic and you try and push hills. But you guys showed really good game management. You recognize that, okay, there's something we need to do, and you executed it perfectly. Talk to me about the communication at that point and what you decided to execute on.
So we had a good lead indeed, and then I think at one point we had the OS. I think Rob forgot to pop it, and he died, and we gave up the OS. At that point, I think the comms were just very, very collective, and we made some decisions. You know, let's push B and ignore the OS for now, and it just comes like that. Sometimes the OS comes up, and it's like, just give it. You know, they're gonna put 3 bodies on there. We just maybe might even get a triple cap on them, and then you know we just go from there.
You played Online Warriors in pool play. It was 3-2. The games were close. I saw the stats: 4 3s, 3 2s in King of the Hill, 50-47 in Slayers. A 3-0 here on main stage. What's the difference between the pool play game and this? Was it purely because you had the crowd, you're on main stage, you were under the shining lights?
I mean, we do perform better on main stage for sure. I do feel like it's because we're further into the tournament. Yeah, like I said, we really start to click now. Obviously, we've been teaming for a very, very long time, but what we said to each other now, like, you know, just let's have fun and really listen to each other, get the comms really, really calm. Stop calling out one-shots because, you know, there's going to be plenty of them. So just say about what you're doing rather than just calling out one-shots.
Can you tell him that as well? Just so in matchmaking, I have to stop listening to him calling
I'll ignore it.
I was just about to say,
just mute him. Just mute him. Yeah, I try.
One thing I was just going to quickly add as well is that with the first game in that series, we were trying to get indicators of how this series is going to go. That first game, that was so easy for you. Like, the score differences was just crazy. Now, it's not just your stats on how great you were holding them. Your counter-attacks were really impressive. Like, you were forking perfectly at a high pace. Is that what's going to be the game factor, or maybe the changing factor against maybe a quadrant or something in the next round?
Absolutely. Obviously, we had the same series versus Blackhand the other day, so it was all ball streets as well. We literally almost lost that, and we looked back on the games and we realized that 14 rocket kills and we only had 2. So one of the big focus in today, this game is like, you know, if we just get like maybe 4 rockets, then we'll win the game easy, and that's what we did. I think we got more power-ups, and you know, that makes it so easy for you.
Yeah, indeed. Morga, I want to talk about your Ascend game as well. We didn't get a chance to talk to you about it on the desk because obviously things didn't quite go your way, but my God, what an incredible result that you guys had on the main stage. And we were talking on the desk about, you know, if you guys could play them well and kind of show us something there, you know, not just getting 3-0 sweep, then, you know, you guys stand a really solid chance at running through, you know, today on Championship Sunday. You know, you kept it really close to the point where in that CTF game, you nearly had it. Talk to me about those moments. You know, it came down to overtime, really difficult. You have to get that 1 cap, and if you don't start strong, it can be really, really hard to kind of come back from mistakes. So what were the vibes like after that series?
I mean, the start of the day, the vibes were very good. We started here at 10 a.m., so we got our very early, got our prac in, and we were like, you know, we have nothing to lose for this Ascent. We know they're a good team, but we know they're also beatable. So we get, yeah, all the games were very, very close. It literally came down to some like minor mistakes we made, just some comms we didn't listen to, or some one shot. Like sometimes it's just a piff, you lose, and you know they end up taking the win, which is annoying because it was very, very close. But there was definitely more into that, yeah, for sure.
Listen, heading into this tournament, you guys have all. You've had misfortune, things haven't gone your way online, which can be something that happens, and you trialed another player. There's no secret about it, but Chris Stola managed to hold his spot, and he's a player who typically in the past has struggled with the LAN competition. That's where he's been falling short, but this weekend he's been going massive. He's been a different beast, and all of a sudden he's showing you boys that, you know, he belongs on this roster, and what a performance he's been putting in for you guys.
Absolutely, Chris is unreal. I mean, all of our teammates, that's a good thing about our team. Like, all 4 of us, we can pop off any day. You know, it's really about trusting each other, and you know, it's so nice to have, all the faith in the teammates, and you know, anyone can pop off, and Chris is definitely popping off this event.
Certainly are. I'll tell you what, all of you are popping off on that main stage. I couldn't fault either one of you guys. Just absolutely incredible. So, Morgan, thank you so much for joining us and giving us another insight into what's going on in the JLINGZ camp. Best of luck going forward, but not that you're going to need it. You're looking pretty good out there.
Thank you, guys.
See you back up here in a few minutes? Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
perfect.
Half an hour?
Yeah, you have another death segment coming up for sure, Morgan. I tell you what though, folks, we're going to take a look at the brackets right now to see exactly where the scores are at, where they align. As you can see, the elimination bracket run, the Cinderella story is indeed happening for JLINGZ. They're going to be facing Quadrant though in the elimination semi-finals. It's going to be a hard one, Gaskin. That game is going to be probably the toughest one that they've had to face yet, apart from Ascend. But in terms of their tournament life, you know, they came into Ascend knowing that they do have that safety net in the elimination bracket, probably going into that hoping to learn something. Quadrant is where it's really going to start to turn up.
For sure. I think the anomaly in my predictions has been JLINGZ. I had them outside of the top 4, but that was because I was going to be questioning whether the online performances were going to transition to LAN, and they've completely changed everything that they were doing online and become one of the best teams that we've seen them ever perform here on LAN. Against Quadrant, I think JLINGZ go into that as favourites with what we've seen so far. Quadrant did not look like the same team we used to be seeing, so JLINGZ, if they carry on with the same sort of confidence, this could be another 3-0. So Quadrant, I need to see them step up. I need to see something different.
I'd like to tip my hat. We didn't get to see too much of them on the broadcast so far, but Scorched Hand, they have been eliminated now by Quadrant. They got the better of Black Hand. I don't know whether it was the right hand versus the left hand. They played rock, paper, scissors to see who win, but they win 3-2, and unfortunately for Black Hand, they lost another game 5. So they've learned a lot, but they've learned a lot the hard way this weekend, so they've got a lot to work on in the future. But really excited to see how Ascend and Navi go, because Navi have been looking special.
They certainly have indeed. I'm very excited about that matchup. This might be one of my... There's been so many matchups that are my favourite. I don't know. I can't really actually choose one, to be honest. I don't think I have a favourite. But I tell you what, something that is going to be a favourite is all of the teams that have actually qualified for pool play. We have Ascend, Navi, JLINGZ, and Quadrant in Orlando, which is massive. This opportunity is so big, as well as the opportunity to see 2 absolute titans playing on that main stage very shortly. We're heading to a quick break. When we come back, we do have our winners finals lined up for you guys. Somebody's going in that grand final, somebody is going down to the elim bracket. It's going to be Navi versus Ascend, a huge matchup. We'll see you right after this.